Poughkeepsie couple vanished over the weekend, seemingly without a trace.
A neighbor came out and said, Cynthia Anderson, she's this beautiful girl. And I know she caught the eyes of many men. And I know many men wanted her. She was a 20-year-old woman. She was heavily involved inside of a church, and she even had a boyfriend that attended this church as well. So Cynthia, she's at work, and she has this window that she can look at, and through the window across the street you can see this other building, and it's a wall. While she's working, and she looks up and she sees in writing someone says, I love you, Cindy, in big spray paint letters. That is really creepy. And then at the bottom it said by GW. She didn't have no idea who this is, but at this moment she believed that she had a stalker or somebody who was obsessed with her, or maybe someone who know me is playing games with me. Nonetheless, she didn't really know for sure. Now Cindy was her nickname. People like to call her Cindy. She was the only one named Cindy that worked on that property. No one else. So at that moment she knew that this person was talking about her, whoever this unknown mystery person was. So every week for 6 months straight, she seen, I love you, Cindy. But she wasn't getting no stalking events at this time. Not much things was happening. So everything was normal at first for 6 months. On the 6th month, once it was finally covered, a couple of days went by, then it would appear again. But this time, even much more bigger. She would get disturbing office phone calls from random strangers saying weird things to her, and she don't know this voice at all. She don't know where it's coming from. Even someone who she worked with got a strange call, and the man picks it up and hears this strange man talking, saying some weird things on his phone. When she hang up the phone, it would ring again. And matter of fact, this would happen a lot. And when she go home and she's laying in her bed, she would have nightmares that she's going to get kidnapped and murdered. She could not sleep, so now she's stressing. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this would stress me out too, because there's somebody who's messing with me. Keep me up at night too. This would scare me too, because this person is serious. At least from my POV, this person has to be serious. What I would do is, especially because of the situation that's gonna happen to her, I'm not gonna really spoil it, but it's like, you have to move out. You have to quit your job. I'll go as far as saying, go to another state. Okay, not go to another state, but maybe move out. Maybe not sleep home for a couple days until you find out who this person is, because it's only going to get more creepier from here. This was so serious that they kept the office doors locked at all times, and they had an emergency button at her desk, just in case if something happens. The following morning, Cynthia was driving. She left her parents' home because that's where she sleep and stay. She left her parents' home to get in the car and go to work, to the office. As she was driving to the office, she was supposed to be at the office. One of the boss workers did not notice her, but he did notice that there was this lingering smell from paint, nail polish. What the boss also did was check her desk to see if she had a note on the desk, because if she steps out the office, she always writes a note saying where she's at, what she's about to do, and why she's not at her desk. There was no note. Not only that, when he looked at the inside of all of the doors, they all were locked from the inside. He checked to see if her car was at the parking lot. He looked and he see her car is still in the parking lot. So where is she? She's not in the bathroom.
Cynthia Anderson went to work and then vanished, leaving her office as if she was simply stepping away.
Her keys and her purse, all of her personal items were missing. But on her desk was this romance novel that she was reading, and it was open. And on this page, as it's getting read, it talked about how the protagonist is getting abducted, kidnapped at knife point. Weird, crazy, creepy. No, like seriously weird, crazy, creepy. Because what the is going on? Where is she? How did this happen? Okay, now here's the thing. Did this guy? I hate smart criminals, because it's like, did this guy go in the office, not get seen, open the book at a certain page? Or is it coincidental that she was just reading the part about getting abducted by knife point? How could he have not got seen when he went inside of the building? The man who spray painted the Cynthia sign, I love Cynthia, or I love you, Cynthia, he came forward and said it was for another Cynthia, and he was never charged. And get this, it was no other Cynthia in the area at all. And you mean to tell me you did this right in front of her window across the street where she can obviously see it, and they never charged him? Meaning, here's another theory that gets even much more dark. The reason why they never charged him, because the police was doing a lot of trafficking in the area. Yes. But the police that was doing the trafficking was undercover. Probably was able to get this woman, kidnap this woman, and sell her off. But this guy who sold her off didn't know that he was selling her off to undercover policemen. That one gets a little bit twisted because is it possible? Of course it's possible.
That police sergeant is Jason Bemowski, the 16-year veteran arrested Thursday.
Not all police are good people. Y'all seen the case that I did of the police that was kidnapping women. But, you know, that's just a theory. Because it did make a lot of people scratch their head and say, why would y'all just not question him again? Not look into his home. Not see what Cynthia he was talking about. Make him show a picture of the Cynthia that he was talking about, since there's another Cynthia in the area, even though we know that there wasn't. But they just let him go. Very strange. But it gets worse.
911, what's your emergency?
A woman called. She's whispering. She says, yes, hello, police. Cynthia, she's getting tied up in the basement right now, held hostage in this white house. It's from this family. These neighbors that I know, they have her tied up in a white house. Mind you, she is whispering, she's panicking almost, and she's scared. She goes on and she says, it's the son of the family inside of that neighbor's house. The family decides to go on a vacation, but the son is still home at that white house. And he has Cynthia in his basement, tied up. The police is like, can you give me more details? But she's panicking and she just hangs up. Never hears from her again. The police decide to search for houses like the ones that she described, but it didn't help at all because there's so many white houses around the area where Cynthia lives. That is ridiculous. Not only that, could it be a bunch of teens playing pranks on the police? Yes, it could be, because everyone knew about this situation in this case at the time.
20-year-old Cynthia Anderson went to work. That morning, she went into the office in the Manhattan Plaza. Multiple witnesses reported seeing her inside that morning, but then things take a turn.
So teens being bored, let's prank you. The reason why you can think that it's a prank is because why was the girl whispering? Was she locked up inside of the house too if this wasn't a prank? But she couldn't be locked inside of the house because she's only speaking to save Cynthia. If she was locked inside of the house, she would be trying to save herself as well. Like, can you save me? Can you save me? Me and Cynthia, we locked. But she didn't even say none of that. She was just like, Cynthia is in the neighbor's house, locked up, tied up by a son who got her. So it really didn't make sense on why she was whispering. Very strange. If it was not a prank. Because then the other side says, well, maybe she knew it was the son because maybe this girl was dating this guy. And maybe, just maybe, he was in her house, but he was at the other side of her house, like the kitchen, the living room, watching TV. She decides to go in the bathroom, shut the door, make a phone call, and that's why she was whispering. The deeper you go into it, the more you think that, yeah, it could have been a prank, but it's possible that it could have not been a prank. Because if it wasn't the girlfriend, maybe it was a friend that came out. It's so many different ways to make this not a prank, but what do you think? To say the least, very scary. The next theory is that Cynthia overheard something at her job because she was working with people that got arrested. But they got arrested after Cynthia's disappearance. The two who got arrested was a guy named Richard and a guy named Jose. They got arrested because they was doing a business. And it was said that Cynthia may have heard something in her job that she was not supposed to hear because she was working closely around them. And if you talk too loud, you will be able to hear every conversation that they have. This means she must have heard something so important in this job area. Maybe it wasn't from the two, maybe it was from some other conversations from some other men working. But she must have heard something so important that they had to kidnap her and make her vanish to keep her silent. So yes, if you ask me, there are a lot of strange people around this work area. Of course, we have the guy that came out, I love you, Cynthia. Then we have the two people who worked inside of this business that was doing conspiracy work. And then we have the janitor who had keys to every single door that may have had something to do with her disappearance. It low-key had to be a worker or someone who was in the building because she was just vanished from her desk. But there's other murderers to this theory. The brothers, Anthony and Nathaniel. Now these two guys
Anthony and Nathaniel Cook are serial killers.
These brothers murdered multiple women. Not just multiple women the same age as Cynthia, or at least around her age. To give you the exact amount, 9. That is a lot of people that they was just going around murdering. And they confessed to it as well on tape. So this made investigators say, Cynthia, did you? Both of the brothers said, no, we did not, to Cynthia. Now, if they were so honest about all of the other women, why would they not be honest about Cynthia? So it makes you think, well, maybe they didn't do it. Or maybe it was just something darker behind the scenes that they don't want to reveal. Who knows?
Guess what? These brothers about to be free. What? How?
As hard as it is to believe, the worst serial killer
in Toledo history has a parole hearing next week and could soon be returned to the streets of Toledo.
And this is my first time hearing brothers be on a murder spree like this towards women. I've really never heard something like this before. Because what did y'all go through to want to do this like this? What happened? They always say usually that this comes from some childhood trauma, but that's a discussion for another day. Maybe I have to jump in that case someday. That's very strange. Theory number 3. Now here's when it's about to get a little bit light, not that dark. Cynthia simply just ran away. What you need to know about her home, even though she was a 20-year-old adult, her house was very strict and she has some real strict rules inside of her house. We know that this can make people do some crazy things sometimes. This is why parents should never be so strict on their kid. There was many times I seen a girl who was so strict growing up that when she had her freedom, she wilded out to the maximum level. And you know what type of wilding out I'm talking about, like she couldn't stop. She felt so free and open and alive. Like you have to have some strict to you, but not too strict. Not too strict. Anyways, the sister also came out, Cynthia's sister, who I never brought up. She came out and she said that the parents wanted us to be involved with church. Amen to that. And she said, yes, we were in church. And as church parents, as I went to church and I seen a lot of church parents, because you live by a certain lifestyle, because you go to church, no matter what religion you are, but it's a certain lifestyle to this. The parents are naturally strict. You can't go to these parties. You can't drink that. You can't be out with these friends because they're not the type of friends that you need to be around. You're a church girl and we need you to be one. Maybe she didn't just want to be around this strict environment that's like this and she just wanted some freedom in a way. The father also came out and said, I noticed her change in her looks. She started dressing different and doing her makeup different. And as we know, church girls do dress a certain way. You do have to cover up. The father, I want y'all to also understand, the father believes that his daughter is kidnapped. So he believed, he quoted this, because she was changing a lot in her facial looks and her dressing, this is the reason or the cause of her becoming a missing person, which is so true. The more you show, the more men will look. Natural instinct. The less you show, the less we look. And some people see and they can't stop seeing it, and then they want it, and then they take advantage of it. Sometimes, not all the time. But while the father is thinking the whole time she's kidnapped, no, father, maybe your daughter ran away because the house was too strict. All right, y'all, this is me editing here. My theory is that the janitor has something to do with her disappearance because all of the doors was locked on the inside. He had the keys, or if he wasn't the reason, he had something to do with her disappearance, meaning he was paid off to unlock the door, to let that creep in and then let that creep out and then lock the doors back. But what I'm basically saying is it had to be somebody that worked inside of the building, whether it was the boss, a worker, or the janitor. She wasn't a popular girl. She wasn't well known all around her city for someone to just become a stalker and say, I love you, Cindy. Someone definitely in that building done something. If I had to pick who, I'm saying a janitor, but I think some of you gonna say the boss because he was the first one to notice that she was missing. But we also have to realize that there was no sign of struggle during her workplace. All of the doors was locked, nothing looked like a mess, and she had a bank account full of money where if she wanted to start a new life and just run away, she would have took that money, but she did not take that money. Unless she met a rich person. But then you have to think, well, for you to believe that something happened to me, I have to leave the money. Because if I leave the money, then you're gonna know and you're gonna think that something happened to me. It's a 100 IQ move if you're trying to run away. I'm not trying to support this at all, but I'm just saying, her leaving the money got me scratching my head like, I don't know. I don't think she ran away because who would leave all of that money? Now, with that being said, this case is still open. She went missing at the age of 20. Now she would be 59 years old if she's still out there. So either someone took her, murdered her, or she ran away. And Cynthia, if you're seeing this, if you're out there and you're alive, I hope you're enjoying your life because the unthinkable is sometimes thinkable and can happen. You may be alive and you may still be out there, willingly or unwillingly. I just hope you're alright. But this case remains unsolved. Now with this next story, this involves this green building. This building's supposed to be the fun times kids care, like some type of daycare. But someone across the street noticed that this building is a little bit off. So they go on Reddit and they posted this. What's the deal with this place? Live across the street from it for 5 years. Never seen a kid there. Many people will go to this place and record this place, and they noticed something strange when they started recording the building. In the inside, the windows was boarded up. Now, you might be thinking, it may be abandoned, but it's not. So that make it 1,000 times more creepy on the windows being boarded up from the inside. Because remember, it turned into this gray green and then it turned into this teal color. So they're fixing the building up as time go on, but I guess they don't want us to look inside of it. Now the same guy who posted the image on Reddit also posted out this tweet. He said, I went up to the place because I wanted to check this place out again. It's giving me them weird vibes. I see a guy, it was a Spanish guy. I seen him outside of the building, then he goes inside of the building. I also seen a pizza delivery man. He takes a picture of the pizza delivery man. So as you can see, there's people coming in and out, going from the building and leaving the building. And he also seen little ones coming inside of the building. You can see the 2 backpacks and you can see them walking inside of it. Notice something else? He never seen anything active around this building or inside of this building for 5 years. But the minute he posts this quote on Reddit saying, I've never seen anything for 5 years, what's up with this building? He sees 4 people come in and out that building in the span of 1 day. Weird. And this goes viral on Reddit, that the people who live around this area will record this building at night. This building will give them the feeling, that eerie feeling, because a lot of people was thinking trafficking. You would even have people in their cars recording this building, driving past it at nighttime, because people really wanted to figure out the mystery behind this building. Because you know how the internet gets. Conspiracy, conspiracy, conspiracy. We all love conspiracies. We just hope they're not true sometimes. But a guy came out and he said, my dad, he went there as a kid. Matter of fact, this place is supposed to be a safe haven for the kids. And we blocked out the windows because we don't want certain family members to see them inside of this building. We want it to be private. And an elderly lady actually works there, so that's why it's probably that much people there, which is very little to a few. But remember that guy seen a Spanish guy? He probably saw the guy named Richard, because he was the guy that actually eventually purchased it after the elderly lady had it. But he also then gave it to his elderly mother after some time passed. All of the conspiracies around this building came to an end because we now know through all of the information that we all gathered that this building is legit. It has no trafficking involved with it, but it was a crazy unsolved mystery for a very long time for people. This is so big that people would either dress as a daycare worker and pose and take a picture right in front of the building. And with that being said, this building has really good history behind it. No bad history behind it. But it was just weird to the guy, and it was just all a coincidence. A house burning into flames. This house is burning into flames so bad that it took the firefighters 2 hours to stop. This means that this house was badly on fire. After the firefighters managed to make the fire go away, they noticed 2 key clues to this whole situation. The first clue, this fire was on purpose. The second clue, a murder happened. They found a girl named Junko. She was tied up, her mouth, her hands, her feet. Someone left her there to die in this fire, or someone murdered her first and then left her there. By the end of this video, who you think is going to be the murderer of her case? This is an unsolved case. Was it a family member? An ex-love partner? Was it a stranger? Was it a friend? These one of those situations that get really creepy and weird and strange, because when something goes unsolved like this, it sit back and it makes you think, this can happen to me. Just wait. But of course, before that, snacks. Okay, y'all. I hope y'all been enjoying y'all 2025. And I hope y'all got plans this year to enjoy y'all 2025. Comment some countries where I should go to film some video, because those are one of my plans in 2025. And who knows, maybe some of you could bring me to some creepy places around where people been kidnapped and murdered, where some strange things happen in your country. Also, you know, I appreciate y'all for having y'all snack, and all of my new subscribers that just started watching me. Shout out to Corey X Kitchen.
What girl don't like chocolate? And if you're a girl that don't like chocolate, how?
Y'all already know what I'm about to say. GGYS. Go get your snacks.
I just skirted off in your world.
The girl named Junko, investigators found out quickly that she had a boyfriend, but he was quickly ruled out because on an article they said that their relationship was actually happy. This made people turn heads a little bit, because it's like, how do you know? How do you actually know what was going on behind the scene? But if you don't have the evidence, you cannot just go straight towards the boyfriend. Now, as much as I love this culture, Japan, because that's where this murder happened, as much as I love Japan, it's a lot of stalking in Japan. The stalking in Japan is so bad that they even call it an epidemic on websites. I had talked about this before, and I also had talked about the influencers who get stalked the most. It's more than likely Japanese girls.
Okay, why is this my following us? Why is he following us? Let's go this way. Oh god. Oh my god. Okay, can work this right now. Oh no, he's legit following us. Holy sh!
If you look up streamers on YouTube right now getting stalked live, it is so much Japanese girls that's gonna pop up that it's gonna be unbelievable. Now, where Junko lived was next to a couple of train stations. Meaning when you're going on these train stations, it is so much people around you. You're being this beautiful girl. You never know who's going to keep their eye on you and follow you. And maybe become a little bit too obsessed with you. You just never know. So her living close to these train stations, as sad as it sounds, maybe have something to do with someone stalking her, following her, maybe becoming obsessed with her, and maybe end up turning into a murder some way, somehow. And I also want you to understand, it's not just the Japanese girls that get stalked that live in Japan. If you're an American watching this, or if you're a European watching this, it's many of you that go to Japan and that live there and then tell and express your stories on how you got stalked. Now, of course, there's Africans and South Americans that's there as well, but I didn't hear none of those stories yet from those different continents, because mostly who I see on the internet, if it's not an Asian, is Europeans and Americans. Back to Junko. So the day of everything, the day of the murder, the father went out for a business trip, and her other parent, the mother, was getting ready for work. Junko told her mother, "Can I leave and ride the bike?" Even though today it was raining really heavy. The mother still agreed and said, "Yes, of course, sweetheart, you can ride your bike." Junko, she leaves, and also the mother, she leaves for work. Now the neighbors started to notice something strange about the house. First, they noticed this bright light. At first, they didn't know what it was. They didn't really pay attention to it until they looked closer to this house and seen that this bright light was actually a fire. The fire started around the beginning of 4 something and ended around 6 p.m. something. When the firefighters was able to stop this fire, it was a 2-story home. They went upstairs and they was able to see that Junko was there lifeless. And of course, like I said in the beginning, she was tied up. But before they knew that she was tied up, they seen that she was wrapped in this blanket. And I want you to understand, she didn't really get burned to where it was nothing. Like, of course she got burned real bad, but it wasn't to the point to where everyone immediately thought that she was already gone. Really what happened was they brought her to the hospital thinking that maybe she can survive this. When they did an examination on her, they noticed that she had 6 wounds to her neck. Now, I did hear somebody say that, but I'm like, are you sure? You sure that they didn't just bring her to the hospital to get examined? I 100% believe that they know that she wasn't alive when they seen her. I knew it. Now, obviously, they was able to examine her because it wasn't burned to extreme extent to where they couldn't see the wounds and etc. But to say that there is a chance, you know what? The most unbelievable things be happening in this world, and sometimes you just gotta let it go and let it be and just say, okay. Because I couldn't imagine being somewhere that hot with that much flames for 2 hours and still be able to live that? That's insane. But anyways, when they found out examining her, the wounds from this sharp blade, they also noticed the ropes, like whatever stranger used to tie her up. But they noticed a couple of things about this rope. The way how this person tied her up was maybe a person that done landscaping and also costume work that performs on stage, because this is a specific type of knots that they always do for these 2 things. And they also noticed that whoever did this probably had a hard time because they noticed that she was fighting back looking at her hands, but she was struggling. She ended up losing the battle, as we all know. Next to her, they found the father's slippers. They also found out that she was not alive before the fire even happened. And her clothes, any assaults, didn't happen. Then they also found the tape that this person used. They found little bitty hairs on the tape, and they seen that it was dog hair. Junko didn't have any dogs, neither her family that lived in the house, so the person that done this to her had a dog. Now, the fire started in this Japanese styled room. If you've never seen a Japanese styled room before, they're actually really unique, and I like them a lot. I have been in some in America by going inside of a person that I know that's Japanese, and they have their whole home looking like it's in Japan. It's really nice. I absolutely love it. And also, when I was in Asia, I got the chance to meet a man who lived in Japan and who was telling me a lot about Japan.
Japanese charge Taiwan.
What?
Yeah.
Japanese used to take?
Yeah.
If you seen the video that I done in Asia, Taiwan/China, he was basically telling me a lot about the culture in Taiwan, in China, and even in Japan. And I got to see some rooms and some homes with Japanese style art, Japanese style bedrooms, Japanese style living room. It's really, really nice. It's really, really beautiful. And the whole time their culture had me excited. But this is where the fire started, in a Japanese styled room. But remember, this Japanese style room is on the first floor. She was on the second floor. And it made investigators think, okay, if you're gonna start the fire on the first floor and you're trying to burn evidence, why start on the first floor? Why not start where the evidence is at? That's because when you think about setting something on fire, you think it's all just gonna destroy maybe. And the person wasn't thinking fully. Let's stop thinking that these murderers is smart like that. Some of them are very stupid. So be happy that they make mistakes. But then they had to step back and they thought, well, maybe this person is a bit smart, because those slippers that we seen, the fathers, maybe they wanted to make it seem like it was the father. Because we did tilt our head and we did think to ourselves a little bit that was weird that the father's slippers was next to her. But when you think about it, does that mean that's enough detail and evidence to say that the father did it? No, it's not. So here's what they believe around this specific time. Matter of fact, it's really scary when you think about it. So they believed the person who murdered her and who started this fire knew the house like the back of their hand. They knew every little detail of this house before they decided to do their plan. Not only did they know every detail inside of this house, they knew the family very well and Junko very well. They knew them so well that they was comfortable to let them in and out their house, probably whenever they wanted. The knowledge of this person dealing with this house was so good that this person probably slept inside of this house multiple times. Now, immediately you might say, okay, well, boyfriend, duh. But we can't just say boyfriend. Family members do strange things. Family members may go inside of your house, sleep in your house, and may know your house. Friends, if you're really close with someone and y'all are really close friends, your friend is gonna know your house like the back of their hand. Still to this day, when I was sleeping with my friend, his name was Carl. I haven't seen him in a decade. It's been a long time since I've seen him, but I still remember his house like no tomorrow. The crazy thing is I still have videos of his house. I know that the kitchen, when you walk in the kitchen is on the left. The refrigerator is gray. The cabins is brown. The sink is on the right. And right next to the kitchen is a chandelier with a table. Mind you, I haven't seen his house in 10 years. It's been over 10 years, but I still have video, and I bet I'm describing it just like how I remember it. And I'm gonna show the video as I'm describing it, and I wonder if I get anything wrong. But next to that kitchen and the chandelier and the dining table is a brown or burgundy couch with white tile floors, and you can see this slide door which leads you to the backyard. Then they have this narrow hallway, and then you turn right, and there's the bathroom, then there's the rooms, then there's the rooms. I remember this place like no tomorrow because I've been inside the house multiple times. I can understand that if I wanted to do anything devious, if I wanted to set anything up, which we did do, me and the person who been sleeping in the house, which the friend that I've been known, we did something devious before. We set up a crime scene inside of this house to scare the mother.
Alright. Now it's dark as about to got the scene ready. We got everything all messed up. Everything messed up. Even the room.
And he called his mother and said, "Mom, help. Please help me."
I'm the mask up. Cause we about to scare bad.
This was before I started doing true crime, by the way, which was strange when you think about it. It was just a prank. We was really, really young. The mom left what she was doing and went to the crime scene inside of the house. She was panicking, screaming. Matter of fact, you can hear her scream on the video because I have that recorded as well. This is crazy. What made me record all of this young?
I'll do it again. Yo, look at the house. It was crazy.
Then it was hugging it out and etc. But just to know that I can have good knowledge of someone's house, I can do some devious things and probably get away with it just because I have that much knowledge, and I might not leave any clues behind unless I want a purposeful clue behind. So back to Junko. One of the neighbors, which was one of the key eyewitnesses, noticed a man standing right in front of their house, just looking up at it, just staring at it. And this was before the fire, of course. Now, after all of this happened, they quickly came to the police and the investigators and noticed this was strange. Maybe you should look into this. Investigator said, can you describe this person in some way? Well, we can't really describe him because I didn't have a clear visual of his face. He was about 5'9". 5'8", and when he was staring at the home, he was looking at the second floor. It was almost like he was doing a blueprint or thinking about something in his head about this house, but he was just staring at it. Because you have to remember, I said it was raining. Remember that? And it wasn't just raining slightly, it was raining hard. Why is this man standing in the rain, looking up at the second floor into this family home? That is creepy on a whole nother level. Because he was the only one that did not have an umbrella. Everyone that was out had an umbrella. Imagine a situation like this. The reason why they found out all of this is because the dad was getting interviewed, and there was a lot of people around him, and they wanted to interview the father about this whole situation. This one woman, she came out and she said, during that day, and it was raining, and I had this raincoat on, and I had my umbrella. I seen in the distance, it wasn't too far of a distance, but it was a distance. I seen that this man was just standing up with no umbrella looking up at the second floor of your home. And that's all he was doing. Oh, but get this. That was a different person that said that. One person came out and say, I seen this strange person looking up at the second floor, who we believe one of the neighbors. That was a key eyewitness. Then the second person was someone with this raincoat on and seen the same thing. That's two eyewitnesses that seen the same exact thing. They just told it at different times. But the difference about this other person, the second person who came out to say, I seen this person staring at the home and this was staring at the second floor, they said that this person seemed to be around their 50s. And this made it seem even much more like the father did it. Because for a bit of time, a lot of people thought that the father did it because of those slippers. Because he looked around the father's age. Yeah, maybe look into this guy and to see if he done this to his daughter. So at this point, of course, they looked into the father, but he had a good alibi and he was cleared. Like, he was legitimately cleared. So they thought a couple of things. Junko either really knew this person really well, or knew the family really well, and for some reason wanted revenge on this family. If they didn't know Junko really well, or if they didn't want to get revenge on Junko, they just wanted to get revenge on the family. So they used Junko to get that revenge. Because what's gonna hurt you the most? Your own kid. If you're not able to see this person no more ever in your life, and this person is just gone from your life, that is gonna hurt you, and that's gonna live with you for years on years until the day you leave Earth. So the best way that I can probably make you suffer is going after your own kid. And this is how I'm gonna get revenge on you. Now, this is just one of the theories, because that's all we can go on now is theories. But then there's the stalker theory. Remember how I told you how Japan is crazy with the stalkers? Well, she attended a party 10 days before her murder. But this night took a turn that made everything creepy. She was walking late at night by herself alone on this dark road going home. But as she was walking in the distance, she see that this person followed her. She thought nothing of it at first, so then she turned. When she turns in the distance, that other person turned. Now she believes 100% that she's getting followed. So what she does is call her parents, and on the phone the parents said she sounded frightened. She sounded really scared when she called us on the phone because she realized someone was following her. So she immediately ran or either walked fast to the closest station where she would be around more people, so someone could pick her up. Her mom was the first person to come pick her up. But by the time the mother came pick her up, the stalker was gone. Made sense that the stalker was gone because she's around multiple people around this station, so this person might not try something around all these people. And you know what's so crazy? 2 days before her murder, she said something extremely strange to her family. She said, parents, mom, dad, if something was to ever happen to me, you will be able to identify me by the marks on my teeth. It's like she almost knew something was gonna happen to her. It make it seem that way because just 2 days after that, you get murdered. So it makes it completely scary, and it makes it be like, why did my daughter just say that? What made her wanted to tell me that around a time like this? Because yeah, they had that stalker event, but that was just a one-time thing. It's not like her life was crazy in danger and things kept happening. So was she hiding something from us, or was she not telling us something? I'm speaking from the parents' POV. So around this time, no one knew who it was. No one knew if Junko let this person in, had a conversation with this person, knew this person very well, and something just went off. Something turned left. and this person ended up getting mad and just murdering her. No one knew if someone broke inside of this house because she had some creepy stalker and just wanted to murder her. No one knew if maybe this stalker knew her in a way, maybe had some creepy obsession, just liked her because she was cute. No one knew if it was a family member. No one actually knew if it was the dad, even though he had an alibi. And no one knew if it was a friend of hers that she might have let in her home that may have did this murder. And then of course the boyfriend, because she had a boyfriend, as I told y'all multiple times. No one knew if it was him too, but he was clear. So then when this became this big mystery and people started putting out all of these theories, and a lot of these theories made sense, the ones that I just told you, of course. Now, a robbery gone wrong. The family had an important bill in their home. It was this $1,000 bill. They had the prince on this bill. Prince Shotoku. It was a very valuable collectible. It was actually a 10,000 bill, not 1,000, was missing. But that didn't really make sense because, okay, they took that, but they didn't took the $140,000 USD in cash along with his bank book that was also in the house, but they took that. No. Maybe that just got burnt up and messed up in a fire, and it just so happened to look like someone took it. Understand, in a situation like this, you have to be really scared and you have to move out the city. This family, I don't really know if they move out the city or not. They probably did, but you have to move out. If something like this was to happen to you, and this is all a big mystery, it's no way I would be able to sleep at night at all. I'm talking about at all. Because for some reason, I'm just thinking, okay, somebody murdered my daughter. You don't think they might murder us next? Because if you think about it, this is my daughter. I'm not going to give up on finding you. I'm going to do whatever it takes to find out who done this. And if this person was brave enough to come in my home, do this to my daughter, and then do this to my home, what makes you think that if they have the chance, come in our home and do something to us, they wouldn't? You have to move out of the city because you don't really want to take that chance of somebody else who's living in this house, maybe like your wife, something happening to them. So the father came out and he says, I have 5 million yen, a bounty, that if you could find any good information about what happened to my daughter, I will give to you. So the father came out publicly. The father came out publicly. The father came out publicly.
Like, why could I not say publicly?
And said, 5 million yen, you have key important information, I got you. And this is why I'm saying I would move out the city, because we don't know who we're really dealing with. And that person who may see that this father is coming out with all of this money to give to someone may not take that well. To this day, Junko's murder is a mystery, and no one knows what truly happened and who truly did this. Maybe we will find out sometime in the future, but as of now, a case that happened before you and me was born is unsolved. The machete serial killer that lived in Florida was never caught. The first victim, her name was Amelia. She was a real estate agent, and she was also preparing to move inside of her new husband's home, trying to sell her old home. It was one following day she decided to walk her pet bird. People do that. I guess they walk their bird. Some people have them on their shoulders, not actually walk. Come on now. But as she was doing so all alone by herself, someone with a machete creeped up behind her, unaliving her. But then there was a guy named Locke. During the murder, he heard screams. Mind you, when the murder happened, it was in front of her house as she was getting ready to walk her pet bird. But the neighborhood was really quiet. It was no one out. But since Locke heard the screams, he saw a man that he described to the police. Once the police got to the crime scene, he said he looked around 40 to 60 years old. Now, this is the first murder, so people really don't know what's going on just yet. But I just want to know, what will you do if someone says there's a serial killer out on the loose in your neighborhood? Really tell me down in the comments what will y'all do. And don't say, oh, I would just move. You have to be realistic, because not everybody could just move. Honestly, the first thing that I would do if I know that there's a person lurking, all of my family members is not allowed to walk alone. Matter of fact, we might not be walking at all. Number 2, it's a night routine to make sure all of the windows and doors is locked. We can never get comfortable. This is how we have to live now. And then of course, number 3, cameras. We all should have cameras outside of our house. I don't really care about having cameras inside of your house. Yeah, if y'all seen my last video, make sure you change that default password. But cameras. The thing was, around this time, there was no cameras like that. But tell me what y'all would do. But guess what? A lady came out and she says, y'all need to stop living in fear. This neighborhood, this place is the most safest place that I've ever been in life. Matter of fact, the night of the murder, I was walking that night. Here's the quote that she said exactly. I'll read it to you. I think St. Augustine is the safest place I've ever lived. I go out walking at night and I will continue to do so. I went out walking the same night that the murder took place. Lady, I don't know you, but don't think that you can't get touched. Be smart. Now, Francis will walk all the time at night. Now, remember, Amelia, she was the one that got murdered. 9 months passed, and during the 9 months, Frances, the lady who put that quote that I showed y'all, she will walk all the time at night. So then the 9th month happened. A guy was walking his dog at night, and he seen Frances laying on the ground, murdered. Okay, but I do want to spare her because it's not like, okay, a murder took place. It's not like it was dozens and dozens of murders taking place. It was just that one murder that took place, and then 9 months passed. Everything looks like it's sunshine and rainbows. No murders is taking place. So I have to spare her for that because it's like everything is safe for 9 months, and then it wasn't. He struck again, and it happened to be the lady that always walk at night. Now the thing about this person who was committing the murder, he's just leaving them there. Very, very strange. Not taking it, trying to hide it or put it anywhere, just leaving it there along with no DNA evidence. Person like that would scare me because you're a little bit too smart, way too smart, and also because you are confident that you're just not going to get caught, so you're okay with just leaving it there. But get this, Abelia's murder, well, she was an animal lover, like a real animal lover, and she would take in a lot of animals, and these animals will make a lot of noise, so much noise that a lot of the neighbors would complain and tell authority to get these animals away because they're just making too much noise in the backyard, in her house, everywhere. Maybe someone was fed up and had enough of Abelia and murdered her. You know, honestly, I don't really know why people said this guy was a serial killer because only 2 murders took place, but he did murder 2 victims and got away with it, and no one ever knew. I thought it was way more murderous than that. I'm glad that it wasn't. Trust me, I'm glad that it wasn't. I thought it was though. Y'all talk about Bryce. Bryce was this college student. He went off to college and he's dating this girl named Kim. Things started to get a little odd about Bryce though. He started to drink a lot. He started to take this specific drug because it made him feel some type of way so that he can stay up and I guess focus on studying. He all of a sudden gave his friend Sean his personal expensive items out of the blue, out of nowhere. Sean was like, "You sure? Like, this is expensive?" He said, "Yeah, of course, just take it." In front of Sean's eyes, Bryce then pulled out his phone, texted his girlfriend Kim, and said, "Yeah, I broke up with Kim." He's acting so strange right now, and Sean is like, "What the hell? Let me get in touch with his mom." When Sean get on the phone with Bryce's mom, he tells her, "Your son is acting strange. Drug use, alcohol, giving me his personal things." She didn't have no idea that all of this was going on. She was shocked. So when Sean get off the phone with Bryce's mother, just when she was about to call Bryce, Bryce calls her. But it was not Bryce, it was Kim. When she answered, she said, "Your son is acting so strange that I took his keys. I don't want him to drive." I can only imagine the look on her face because she just got the same thing from Sean literally seconds ago. She says, "You know what? Put Bryce on the phone." The mom asks Bryce, "What's going on? Anything okay?" When Bryce answers the phone, he sounds completely normal. Then Bryce says this, "Mom, I broke up with her. It was a pretty messy breakup. That's why she's acting like this. That's why she think I'm acting strange. She took my keys. I just want to go home to my apartment. Can you tell her to give me my keys?" The mom then had a gut feeling that something is really not right. So she said, "You know what? It's probably best if you just stay here. I'm gonna go fly out there to you and we're gonna just see what's going on out there." Bryce said, "No, Mom. I have something to talk to you about. And until I talk to you about it, I don't want you coming here at all."
Right, what do you do if your friend is starting to become distant?
People are acting really freaking weird around me. Pushing friends away, they're pushing family away.
The mom then gives the phone to her husband, which is Bryce's dad. Bryce's dad then gets the phone and said, "Hey, what's going on? We really need to know." Bryce said, "I just broke up with my girl. We had a little messy breakup. Can you just tell her to give me my keys? That's all I need. I want to go back to my apartment." The mom then gets the phone again, gave the phone to Kim and said, "You know what? Can you just give the keys to my son?" Kim gives Bryce the keys. Bryce takes the keys and he leaves. Ten hours later, the insurance company calls the mom. This big accident then happened, which was the car that Bryce was driving in. she already thought in the back of her head Bryce should be at his apartment. Why he's not there? The mom calls Bryce. Bryce doesn't answer. Calls Sean. Sean answers and say, yeah, can you put Bryce on the phone? He said Bryce isn't here. He didn't even come home last night. Hold up. So when I told Kim to give Bryce the keys, when he got the keys and he left, he didn't even go home that night? He did not. The mom wanted to know where her son was, of course, because she's getting a little bit worried. So she looked at his bank statements to see where he last purchased something at. It was at this auto repair place shop. So she goes here and she asks one of the workers, yeah, have you seen this redhead kid? They said, yeah, he ran out of gas, so we gave him some gas and he left. Do you know where he went exactly by any chance? They said no. But the worker said, we can check at this rest area where you park your car and you could just rest for a little while or take a little break. They got relieved. They said, yes, please. This worker goes to this rest place, drives there 30 minutes away or something like that, and he sees Bryce. He's not asleep. He don't look tired. He just got his hands on his steering wheel staring at nothing. So this worker looking at him and then just goes to this car, knocks on the window. Bryce rolls down his window and say, you know your parents are worried about you. The worker calls the mom and say, yeah, Bryce is right here at this rest area. Here you go. The mom is like, what the hell are you doing? Bryce is like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just sitting here. He didn't really have an answer on why he's doing what he's doing. The mom tells him, make sure your gas is filled and just please head back home. He said, I will do, mom. Thank you. Hung up, gave it to the worker. The worker looks at him and tells the mom, yeah, it looks like he's leaving. I'm going to head out. The mom said, thank you. But as this worker was leaving, you know, he kind of turned back and it kind of looked like Bryce started to do the same thing again when he arrived. Hands on the steering wheel, just parked at this area, looking out into nowhere, just staring. The worker then tell himself, we just talked to his mom. He said he was going to go home. I'm sure that's what he's going to do. Now, this is where the trip is located, and this is how long it's going to take him to get to his parents' home. So 3 hours passed by since it's that long of a drive. He didn't make it back yet. Around this time, it's like 3:30 p.m. They call Bryce. Bryce don't answer. The parents was hoping that he's in this traffic jam. That's why he haven't made it back yet. But several hours were passed. Bryce still hasn't made it back yet. The parents had this gut feeling and it just reported him missing. When the police got involved in this, they called AT&T, his cellular device company, to ping his location. When the police looked at it, everybody was still shocked because it was still around that same area, that rest area, where he would just sit and look still and be a little awkward. It was still in that area. So he really haven't left? So they drive to the location where this phone is pinged, which is at this hotel area. When they made it here, it's the car that Bryce is in, and he's just staring once again in his car, doing absolutely nothing. The police goes up to his car and they said, when we talked to Bryce, he act normal. Nothing was odd about him at all. We even made him get out the car to make him pass some tests. He passed all of them. He went as far as saying, you know what, if y'all want to search my car, y'all can search my car. The police searched the car, they didn't find nothing. And they searched the car really good. And they asked him, so what are you doing here? You know your parents are worried about you. He said, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just sitting here and I'm gonna plan to go home soon. The officers, one of them said, you know, you really need to go home. Like, seriously, you need to go home. But first, call your mom and let them know you're okay. But this is where it got a little odd at, and this is where it got a little strange at, because when the police told him, you need to call your mom to let them know you're okay, the police noticed that he didn't really want to. His body language, the way he looked, everything just changed all of a sudden. And they noticed it. They asked him once again, Bryce, you have to call your mom. Bryce really did not want to. Bryce finally picks his phone up, calls his mom. The police said, give me your phone. Grabs the phone and said, hey, your son, he's okay. There's nothing wrong about the situation your son is going in. He's totally fine. He's just sitting here, and he said he's gonna go home soon. You need to talk to your son and figure out what's going on. Officer hands him back the phone. While the mom and the son was on the phone, eventually Bryce said, you know what, I'm sorry, I'll be home in a few hours. So now once again the parents are waiting for their son to arrive home. Now y'all know that worker that Bryce stopped by when he needed gas and he wanted to go to the rest area to check on Bryce? That worker? Well, he ended up talking to the mom to make sure Bryce made it home yet. He didn't make it home yet. So what he decided to do, it was now late at night, he decided to go back to this same area. Remember, Bryce already talked to the cops, said he was gonna be back home. It's been hours on hours now. This area Bryce should not even be nowhere near no more. So the worker decides to go back in this area just to check to see if Bryce still here. And in this parking lot, he sees the same Toyota car with Bryce inside of it, staring out into the front of his car, just looking. The worker says, "You know what, Bryce? I'm gonna watch you leave." "I'm not leaving. I'm gonna watch you leave. And I'm gonna follow you on this road." Bryce said, "Okay, fine." They drive off. The worker is following Bryce. The worker follows Bryce for an hour. At this point, this worker want to make sure this guy is on his way home. So once they get an hour in, he waves to Bryce and say, "Heading back. Make it home safe." The mom calls Bryce. Bryce answered the phone.
"Hello?"
The mom says, "You're going to give me landmarks on where you at as you're driving, so I know that you're actually driving home." But Bryce would say, "Oh, I can't see. It's dark. It's kind of hard to see. Can you tell us something? Is there anything out there? Signs? What? Nothing?" Nothing. Didn't give him no information at all. 2 hours in, meaning Bryce should have been home by now, but he's not. He tell his parents, "I am too tired. I need to pull over to sleep." You know, obviously it's nothing really the parents can do at this point. So they tell him, "As soon as you wake up, you need to call us." He said, "No problem." And once they hang up, things turn left. It became a nightmare for these parents. At around 2 a.m., the parents get this knock at the door and they was relieved. "Bryce!" "No, it's the police." Asking them, "Hey, do y'all own this white Toyota?" And they knew that was the car that Bryce was driving in, which it was. Yeah, this car was at the bottom of this hill and we found 2 drops of blood in there, but it's no indication that no one was even there at all. Bryce was gone. He wasn't at his car. Where is he? He had a wallet, a duffel bag right outside the car of this crash scene, and inside was his laptop and his phone. Everything was still there but Bryce.
It has been missing since the end of last summer. Bryce Ras.v disappeared under bizarre circumstances last fall. To this day, it is still a mystery.
And what the investigators and the police told the parents was this a failed attempt of Bryce trying to...
Last time he breaks curfew. I'm looking for my son. He's a teenager. Hi, I'm looking for a teenage boy.
Like underage?
Yes.
Out of the car, sicko!
Family proof your family.
Unalive himself. Mind you, school just started.
Former Naperville man attending college in California.
College for him. He was happy. He was enjoying life. What could have happened within these 2 weeks for him to want to do this? And that's when the parents thought to themselves, was probably hiding something, because what did he mean when he said he had a lot to talk about? And of course, they looked everywhere for this guy. Days and days. Helicopters, dogs, people scavenging the area. They put divers in the lake. They did everything they can do to try to find him, but they could not.
I am Bryce Ras.v.'s mom. Some days are...
Bloodhound dogs see that the dogs found this scent, and they will follow this scent around rivers, on this small little bridge, and it ended off at this truck stop.
For the most part, truck stops are pretty safe places, but not always, as I have recently found out.
They did it with another dog to see if this was really his trail, and it was, because this dog also followed the same scent in the same exact path. A lot of people believe that he just vanished out of nowhere with some truck stopper person. Now, I told y'all about these truck drivers, but that's really not the point of this story right now. I don't know. A lot of people also think what could have happened is, you know, the drug use, the alcohol use could explain his behavior on why he was doing what he was doing, but that's not the point here. I want to know how he just vanished. But it's almost like the reasons he was sitting in them parking lots for hours and hours just staring off, almost was like he was plotting something the whole time for this to happen, to the crash, to him knowing that people would be looking for him. We would never know. This is a strange mystery. It really is. Do y'all think his death on purpose? Or trucks? Remember I said I was going to get into the trucks? Truck drivers? There is a whole deep and dark side behind truck drivers. I hope that this kid did not go through this, but let's talk about it. But I don't know though. I think it's something behind them trucks. Do you? Definitely. I feel like something definitely going on between those trucks. Alright, so what we about to do, we about to go to the truck stop. And we just about to peep some stuff out. It was his idea.
So you gonna blame it on me?
It was his idea if we died. See, that's all the trucks here. Cause we imagining, because like, people stop here to go to the restroom and everything like that. And what if just somebody get grabbed and they just take them right in the back of these trucks back here and just go?
Told officers that she had been kidnapped and assaulted, but she'd managed to escape.
I had to get out. See that man in that truck right now? He's trying to kidnap us. People gonna think we do this. Yeah, apparently this is where like truckers go to take a break at. Like right over there. So we in the bathroom. He's taking a piss over there. Wait, what does this mirror say?
It says call for blue.
Talk to you later. So we really didn't find nothing interesting here, so we're gonna go. But really though, imagine a group of girls just walking and some creepy truck drivers take them. Like, who's this man right here? What is he doing walking here? Yeah, that guy is sus. I ain't gonna lie. Like, what is he doing? You think he a truck driver?
I don't know. Yeah, he was over there.
Dude, he look our age though. No, he walking in the back there. See, he walking in the back there.
He just made a circle.
Yeah, I don't know what this guy doing. I'm gonna be honest.
And you know, inside them big trucks, they got rooms, like a little bed and stuff.
This is the one that's got the triple bunks in it. They have literally a foot, the back bunk and the front bunk. So this is what it looks like up above.
Oh my man, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and look how dark it is over there.
Yeah, it's pitch black. Like, imagine them seeing some beautiful, pretty girls. And it's just like, oh, that's the girl I want to take. Just like that man that I did a story off of. When he shaved his hair, his beard, and everything. He just took that little girl and kept her under the bed.
That's all you gotta do.
Aaron, show your thing off.
Worry about freaking getting murdered.
My bad. I need to put my seatbelt on too. I'm sorry. You said they got beds and stuff back there, so that's even much crazier.
Yeah, it's like a little room. I'm sure you can like it.
All doors locked.
We thought of this randomly, by the way. This is not really even supposed to be the video. Alright, y'all. We just caught a flat.
Holy shit.
Oh my gosh. We just caught a flat.
Look at that. Oh my god.
And I kid you not, we next to a cemetery.
That's bad.
Let's show them the cemetery real quick. Real quick.
Oh, they show them a cemetery?
Yeah, bro. We got a flat next to a graveyard. I cannot make this up.
We walking over here and we going straight back.
I don't want to find no cult here. Oh my gosh. Yo, we next to a graveyard. Come on, let's go. Yeah, come on, let's go. Look, there's trees everywhere. Like, what type? I don't know. I don't even know. Long story short, we did fix the problem. Luckily, I'll explain that later, but there's something I do want to tell you. So you know how we was in a cemetery? There's these two girls. They went to this like graveyard place and they like smelled something burning and they didn't know what it was. And then they see this man and then they started running for their life. And this man started chasing them, so they got in the car and they left. Later that day, a news report. This is a true story. Later that day,
I'm gonna put the seatbelt on, right?
Put the seatbelt on. Oh, my bad. I still don't got mine on. So later that day, they get a news of a dead body and that it was burnt and everything like that. So if they would have got caught, the man would have killed two girls that was at this graveyard. One of the daughters started crying and break down to their mom about how they was there and what happened and everything like that. That's crazy. Yeah, crazy. Now, I made it back home, safe and sound, but why did the tire look like somebody tried to slice it? It didn't look like your typical average flat tire. Maybe when we was leaving to check around the truck place, that guy who was walking past our car when we was getting in the car, maybe he had something to do with it. Because the tire kept saying low pressure, and it was never saying that at first until we parked to the truck place. Thank God we was not females. Alright, ladies and gents. I don't know why I just said that. But with that being said, it is the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all had y'all snacks as well. And this was a long one with some mysteries to it. A lot of mysteries to it. More to come. Definitely. More travel cases to come as well of me traveling. Whether it's in America or across the world. It's going to be both. With that being said, enjoy the rest of y'all night. I love y'all. Take care. Stay safe. Gotta tell y'all this every time. And bye. I texted this girl and I said this is for TikTok. Tell me a girl secret. She said we tried our own period. What the fuck? Hold up. Nah, I thought she was with me, so I had to ask another girl. Have y'all tried y'all own period before? She said yes. That's tough! Girls! That's tough! I just did some research because it's no way I could not believe this. And I came across this video.
So today I was talking about periods with my guy friends, and they had no idea that girls eat their tampon after they're done with it to like reabsorb all the. It smells like a public restroom! You know what? No. Well.
So girls, y'all got some explaining to do. When did this become a thing? Why did y'all keep this secret from us? You think we're gonna judge you because you try it while you on your No, you know, if it's a ladylike thing, if this is something that y'all do that y'all don't want us to know, it's fine. You know, us fellas, we just didn't know that it was a large portion of y'all that likes to try it. We didn't know. Are y'all messing with us? It's a mystery. Who knows? But that was crazy. That's crazy. Yeah.
Alright, the yellow one good?
No, I don't like that flavor.
Flavor?
Yeah.
You taste with your cooch?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We learned that in health class.
Lime?
Lime's not my favorite either.
Well, you only have lime or... You can taste these?
Yeah, you don't believe...
Do girls eat their tampons?
Do we eat our tampons?
Yeah.
It has to taste good if I'm going to put it there.
You're not eating them?
Just give them a little whiff before you...
What do you mean a whiff? I don't know how to react right now. This isn't true. What does that even mean?
What do you mean?
Your... Not in your mouth. What?
That, you should be able to understand that.
I do not understand women at all.
Thank you! Why do you think I love a bath so much? I can taste it.
If you really wanna fuck with me, bro, maybe you should come try and see.